Welcome to another edition of Swing State Update. I'm Tyler Boyer, and I'm here with the wonderful Austin Smith.
Hey,
it's
episode 16.
Good to have you back, State Representative Smith. And we're joined for the first time by someone who went to school in northern Mexico, at the University of Northern Mexico, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's a little bit more north from that, actually, in the States, the beautiful United States of America.
Just barely.
The wall.
I think it's behind the wall.
It's a little more patriotic than ASU, I think.
Hey, I don't disagree with that. ASU should have red, white, and blue as the colors. Where the wonderful Jessica Barshis, who is also the senior editor of Human Events.
I am assistant editor to editor-in-chief
Senior
Libby Emmons.
Assistant to
Queen Libby Emmons, yes.
No,
assistant to the.
No, as of today, it's senior assistant editor.
Okay.
To the.
I'll
editor.
tell the team.
Okay.
Great
to
But
be here.
Human
I'm
Events,
excited.
we love Human Events.
Yeah.
We love the work that you guys do, which is a sister publication also to Post Millennial.
Yes.
Which Libby's involved with and you're involved with too, and Jack Posobiec and our
Poso.
very own Charlie Kirk. And you guys just do a tremendous job with all the work that you do over there. I think Post Millennial and Human Events have the most aggregate clicks and reads that are actually useful to the movement than any other conservative outlet that exists. So we're really proud of the work that you guys do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here. We're going to have fun.
Yeah, and this is part of the reason why we're bringing Jess on is we're hoping that she can be a long-term permanent part of the Swing State Update here as we talk about what's happening in the most critical states and get her take, especially with the live news as it's happening from state to state, across the country, across the world, really, and how that's all impacted with the things happening in the States. So
yeah, over at Human Events, we kind of focus on the international news, post-millennials more, what's happening in the States and Canada. So yeah, I'm excited to bring a little bit of a new perspective, worldly perspective here.
Yeah, we need that. We need a journalist, and it's fitting that she comes from U of A too, So it's like the most hated cross section in Arizona. You went to U of A, and no, I'm just teasing. And for all of our Southern Arizonans, I'm just teasing because I always get hate.
Are you though?
I always tease Tucson. Hey, but if we could really get rid of Pima County, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm not going to lie about that. If I could just sacrifice Pima, I would trade Pima County to New Mexico to Mexico for
Rocky Point. That's smart.
In a heartbeat.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Gadsden purchase was really messed up.
You can't tell me you wouldn't do that.
They don't call it the dirty tea for no reason. I will say that there are some beautiful parts to it, but
You wouldn't trade land grant university in the state, so it's got beautiful buildings and stuff like that. But the whole around Tucson, no, not really a fan.
Whatever. I don't know what's going on in the background. I hear music in here. Do you guys hear that music?
I do.
That's
hear
great.
it.
That's
I like
awesome.
We hear music in the background here, guys.
It's kind of suspenseful.
But you wouldn't trade U of A for Rocky Point?
No. I have to say no.
No?
I have to say no.
You wouldn't trade U of A for Rocky Point?
I have to say no.
You wouldn't trade
that's
a
what
port
Arizona would be
on the
such a
beach.
powerhouse.
You wouldn't
standing
trade
by
beach. That's insane.
Arizona would be such a powerhouse.
That's crazy.
With our own port.
I have to say that I wouldn't, but I'm just going to make note that I do love Rocky Point. #1 spring break destination for us.
Well, you can't get down there now. Biden has it closed. We have Lukeville Port of Entry is closed, so we can't get down to Rocky Point anymore. So that's a moot point.
Okay, so where's the elk meat?
Being processed right now.
Wasn't there elk meat promised for this episode?
I was gone a couple weeks ago. My dad did get his elk, and so it'll be processed in like the next 5 weeks or so. And we will have some elk summer sausage for this show to share. Did you guys figure out the problem?
It was Jessica's computer.
Oh.
I thought the music was coming. It was so loud. I thought it was coming through our headphones.
I was like, who is that?
And it's literally Jessica. Jessica's just trying to throw a beat up in here.
Yeah. She's like, welcome. This is my podcast.
She says no to Rocky Point, but she wants to start a club in here.
Y'all
so
were
it's
saying
fine.
you needed some
Club
new
Jessica.
intro music. I'm just trying to contribute the
No,
best
but in a
way
few
I
weeks,
can.
we'll have some elk meat. We'll bring it to the show. We'll all have some summer sausage here. Maybe some elk chili or something.
Okay.
We'll have the whole thing. But on a more important note, Tyler, we just dropped our endorsements. Turning Point Action did for the very beginning of the 2024 election cycle. Go to tpaction.com/endorsements. Looking on there from our people who were great all session long in this first regular session of Congress. We got Andy Biggs on there, Eli Crane, Paul Gosar, all people who have scored consistently in the Patriot column. We've talked about this on this show a lot. People who have great conservative voting records that we want to see more of in Congress, and they deserve to go back. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, one of our very own alumni, Anna Paulina Luna, Rick Scott, Jim Banks, who we've endorsed for the United States Senate, Bernie Moreno in Ohio, and Scott Perry, Freedom Caucus chairman in Pennsylvania. Obviously, Marsha Blackburn has been such a great senator, absolute warrior down there as well. Ted Cruz, Troy Niels, Trent Staggs, who's going to run to replace, thankfully, Mitt Romney and Harriet Hagman in Wyoming. So it's a pretty strong list, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning. The endorsements are going to continue to roll out. As you noted, we had 3 from Arizona plus Kari Lake that just came out. There's only a couple from Florida, and a lot of the swing states just aren't really represented very well because a lot of these swing states are pretty purple. And so you've got some really, questionable members of Congress, even the ones that you think right off the bat would be awesome.
Yeah.
And for, people noticed this week, like Marjorie Taylor Greene's not on here. Well, she doesn't have a Patriot score of 95% right now. She just doesn't.
Neither does Thomas Massey. He's like the most libertarian guy in Congress. Yeah.
She did a lot of McCarthy stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of votes that were bad. We actually, if you go onto our scorecard, you can see where the votes came from, how we rated them, how it ranks each of these members. And we're just very transparent about all this stuff. In fact, I had one congressperson call me, who will not be named, that was not super happy with the way that we view her and the way that we talk about her. But, look, this is all dependent upon their own scores. And I said, look, this is really tough, but you didn't vote that great. You used to vote great. Now you're not voting great. So I don't know what else to tell you other than, vote better and show up. So
that's the whole deal. But very proud that 3 of those people on there from Arizona, our very own, who have consistently been Patriot scorers, Andy Biggs, Eli Crane, and Paul Gosar. Those guys rock. They literally listen to their voters. Because remember, like Eli Crane, McCarthy spent a bunch of money on him to get elected.
Yep.
And his voters in Snowflake were like, yeah, we don't want you to vote for McCarthy for speaker. And he's like, okay. I'm cool with that. Yeah. I'm good with that. And that shows. And we're proud to endorse guys like that listen to the grassroots and their constituents.
So Austin and Jessica. So Jessica's new here. We try to run through what the topics are going to be for the show here today. Just go through them so that people have a good idea where they're listening. We're really excited today's show. We have a guest that's joining us at the bottom of the hour. Who is an awesome state representative out of Missouri, and she is so cool. We'll talk about that in just a second. But today, our first topic, we're going to be talking about Wisconsin ranked choice voting proposals, proposals that we're seeing happening in other places. I think we have a clip about the Ohio situation.
Yeah, Jason Sneed. I've been working with him for like a year now about ranked choice voting because we've done obviously the ban here in Arizona. So can you play clip 1 with Jason?
Let's just lead right into that.
Ranked choice voting has many names: RCV, Final Five, instant runoff elections. But whatever the label, at bottom it is a complicated scheme that makes voting harder and puts public confidence in elections in jeopardy. I applaud the authors of this measure for working in a bipartisan fashion, which is something we have seen across the country, to identify the challenges of ranked choice voting and to proactively take steps to prevent it from coming to Ohio and to help ensure uniformity of election laws.
So, Jess, what do you know about ranked choice voting?
I know what we're reading, so I'm trying to get a gauge on what we think about it.
It's cool. No, most normal people in this world have no idea what ranked choice voting is. This is crazy stuff. We've talked about a lot about it on here on Swing State Update. But ranked choice voting, Austin's a little bit of he thinks of himself a little bit of a pro, right?
Close, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a pro.
I'm still learning stuff about it. That's how crazy it is.
I mean, it's a weird thing, but they're trying to institute this new voting system across all of America, but predominantly in red states, conservative states, because what it effectively does is it gives you the option to vote for multiple people, rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what they want to do is they want to get rid of primaries altogether. So then what ends up happening is because of your ranking, it automatically gets like the middle person elected every time. So in red states, the middle person ends up being the best case, a establishment Republican. Worst case, like what happened in Alaska with ranked choice voting, is you get a Democrat into office. And
Well, they try to sell it as it's like going to create a real majority, that this person who's going to be the winner actually doesn't secure a plurality of votes. And so they're like, oh, if we'll just have more choices. Wouldn't you like more choices, Jessica, and who you're selecting for office? Doesn't that sound like really good? Like, nobody would say no to that, but
It does sound good.
Right.
So we like it.
no,
We don't.
No,
we do not
don't
like it.
Okay.
we hate it, and here's the
With
reason
a
why.
passion, we hate it.
So here's the reason why. There's a number of different reasons why that we've taken people through, but most importantly is that it even if you have a majority of like the thought of the district or the state or whatever, right? What can end up happening is like what we saw in Alaska, where Alaska's a red state. Alaska's like almost 70% Republican. And a Democrat got elected as congressman because the Republicans all split the vote. So it basically limits the number of Republicans that can run in like a primary, right? So if there's no primary format, or they change the format so it's ranked choice voting for the general, it actually disincentivizes people from running in a primary, running against each other. It adds nefarious people to jump in and try to split the votes like what jungle primaries do in California. And then on top of that, it actually statistically has shown that fewer people end up voting and ranking throughout that rank, because if I only want Austin, I'll rank him number 1 and I won't rank anyone else. Well, that means that if Austin gets knocked out in the first round or second round, that means that all those other elections, those runoff elections that are automatic, I didn't get a voice. I didn't get a vote.
That's called ballot
Yeah.
exhaustion.
Yeah, it's called ballot exhaustion, and this is what happens in a runoff, anyways, right? So just like Georgia has a runoff, they have their normal election, and if you don't get 50% of the vote, they have to go back and vote again. That's what happened with Herschel Walker, Rimmer, and all that. Usually, this always happens. Less people show up for the second election.
Okay.
More people don't show up for the second election. That's bad.
Yeah.
You want more. You want the most amount of people deciding who becomes your senator or the president, or voting for the president or your congressman and all that.
And it becomes and kind of put the cherry on top about it, it's a one-party state after that. There's only like one party, there's only like one group of people that are going to dominate those elections from going forward. So it's not actually creating more choices. At the very end, it's always going to be one select group of people that actually end up winning those elections. So it's pretty bad. But it's creeping everywhere. They're trying to bring it here to Arizona.
Yep.
They're trying in Wisconsin. They're trying in Ohio.
Yeah.
So
Well, why do you think they're trying in Ohio?
Because Republicans are dominating in Ohio now.
So Republicans are dominating, and guess who's on the ballot? So like how this would work for the presidential is like, let's say Trump was on the ballot and Kennedy was on the ballot and Biden's on the ballot. So a lot of Republicans might say Trump is 1, Kennedy is 2, Biden is 3, right? So if Trump wins that first round and Kennedy's number 2, right? Then Biden runs and Kennedy's number 2, right? And then the Kennedy people vote and Biden's number 2. Biden could win even though Trump got more votes on
Okay.
the first round.
So then what about states that are predominantly Democrat? Good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, it would, in theory, it would be good, but they're not trying to push these in Democrat
Yeah,
states.
of
So-
course.
So they tried this in San Francisco, they tried it in Vermont, and now they're trying to get rid of it there.
Well, I mean, they tried to implement it statewide in California, and Gavin Newsom vetoed it.
Yeah.
He vetoed that because
He
he
can't-
was like, it's actually not that good for us. So
it would
he really
actually
look at it.
it would create more Republicans in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would create more like moderate Republicans.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for someone like me, like that likes a conservative Republican, it doesn't create any more of those. It eliminates all of them,
No.
right? So
And there's really also no statistical data to show you or evidence that a moderate is always going to end up winning, because like what they're trying to say in Arizona is that like Karen Taylor Robeson would have been the governor in Arizona if we had ranked choice voting. I'm like, None of that is true. There's no evidence to support that that's actually true.
Yeah.
Because it's a Republican state, and that would have been
You
like
easily could have ended up like Alaska, where
no,
a
because it would
Democrat
have been exactly because it would have been like
If they
Carrie
would-
Lake and Karen Taylor Robson and Katie Hobbs
and split the vote.
and split the vote. Katie Hobbs is going to win. There's no evidence to prove that that's actually true. So Bolane's a liar because he's the one who said that.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that's the reason why they want it, is they want to trick people, right? They want
so deceptive.
They want to take advantage of states that have like idiots signing on for this stuff, like Stephen Richer. So yeah. So so we got to watch out for this. I mean, Wisconsin, we're looking at this right now. I think I dropped this to you, the Glenn Grothman statement. Sadie, producer Sadie. I think I dropped it to you. So Congressman Glenn, that's out there in the heartland of Wisconsin, put out a statement. He's great. He's pretty good. All the Wisconsinites are all pretty close to each other. But he sent out to the Senate Elections Committee and said, "No, this is stupid.
yeah,
Do not do this." And I appreciate this. I appreciate our congressmen when they step up and they say something about stuff like this, because we have so many silent congressmen right now that are not speaking up about ranked choice voting, and we need everyone in Congress. We need every Republican. We need Trump. We need everybody, DeSantis, everybody talking about how awful ranked choice voting is. Otherwise, you're going to end up with this. I'm telling you, we need Senator Vance talking about it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no wonder no one wants to actually look into what it is, though. Like the people that are pushing for it, what they say it is, it's just a bunch of word salad. Like it says, the aim of Final Five voting is not to change who gets elected. It is designed to change the incentives of those who do get elected. Like, what does that mean?
So what they're trying to sell it as is that because of ranked choice voting, because there'll be multiple rounds of tabulation, you'll have to appeal to a broader electorate, that I won't be able to attack my opponent because they have so many votes that I may be able to peel off. Mm-hmm. That's just not true. It's actually going to get worse, because it's actually going to force people to attack each other more to keep people from voting for that person, or not even really voting for me, but preventing them from actually voting for that person, just vote for me. So the math behind it all actually is interesting, because the voter turnout goes down, like Tyler was talking about. So major cities like San Francisco, since they implemented, I think it was like 1995, so between 1995 and 2011, voter engagement, voter turnout has significantly gone down in a place like San Francisco. San Francisco, who are they governed by? Far left, extreme Democrats. They have ranked choice voting. It's not turning around because of ranked choice voting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to think about, like, one of the things with ranked choice voting too that everybody has to understand is that it's actually going to make it so that fewer people debate stuff.
Yeah, taking no position.
So think about this. If all three of us are running against each other, right? I like U of A, or I hate U of A, you like U of A, and he's like, whatever. And we're running in Tucson, right? I'm trying to get the vote in Pima County. All the people are going to vote for you because you like U of A. All the people are going to vote against me. Mm-hmm. And Austin's just going to shut the heck up, because, like, if he takes a side, right, then he's going to lose vote. He's just going to get the number 2 vote, right? So if Austin's smart, he's going to make it through the round, right? He's going to get all my number 2 votes. He's going to get all your number 2 votes. And guess what? He just beat you. Mm-hmm. So even though you're pro U of A in Pima County, because Austin shut up and didn't say anything, he got all my number 2 votes, he got all your number 2 votes, and he just won.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like that's like the craziest thing ever. Same thing with Rocky Point, right? Mm-hmm. I'm for using military power to go, start war with Mexico to take back Rocky Point. You're against it.
I'm against it.
Right.
If he shuts up, he gets elected, right? So you're actually incentivized. So what is that going to mean for the next election? Do you think I'm going to come out anti-U of A?
No. You're not going to say anything.
Do you think you're going to come out pro-U of A?
No.
No, because
Sadly.
No, you can't, because you came out pro-U of A, everybody else is anti-U of A is going to vote for someone else number 2.
Yep.
And lose, and you're never going to get the number 2 votes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll end it with, like,
It's
those
crazy.
people in Wisconsin, those lawmakers, those Republicans that are flirting with it. Don't do this, guys. It's bad. We've talked about it on the show a lot. It's going to ruin your state. Wisconsin is obviously top 3 with Arizona, Georgia, leave it alone. I know there's some opponents, Republican opponents in Wisconsin, pushing a constitutional amendment like we are here in Arizona that bans ranked choice voting, or bans, the jungle primary via ranked choice voting, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll keep an eye out for it. But I know we had like our friends Jordan Kittleson down there, Jason Sneed, some other people from Honest Elections Project, and Heritage, and Gina Swoboda's group, Voter Reference, and that has really been on the offensive about this. We are at Turning Point Action. We're going to be doing more events centered around anti-ranked choice voting messaging and figuring out how we're going to beat it in Wisconsin and Georgia next year. We have one coming up here in Arizona on January 5th. You can go to my Twitter and see it there, because we need everybody to be on the offensive on killing this, a swift and painful death from ruining elections once and for all in America, especially the swing states.
Well. Let's move on to the next category here. Next topic for today. This group that Doug Ducey has helped start. You guys familiar with that? What's the name of it, Austin?
Citizens for Free Enterprise.
Citizens for Free Enterprise. So this last week, I guess, Governor Ducey from Arizona,
Former Governor Ducey,
who exited office as one of the least popular governors in America, while they decided it was genius to make him the co-chair of the RGA on his way out the door, and then losing Arizona when he was responsible for helping fund and win Arizona. They were in Georgia, where they've placed the most amount of bodies between Arizona and Georgia. And so this week, Citizens for Free Enterprise, I guess, hosted in conjunction with, it looks like AFP in Georgia. Governor Ducey was out there. Do we have the picture that we have pulled up of Governor Ducey visiting there? And again, this is Swing State Update. So we're just giving everybody the down low of everything happening in Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin for the most part, and then other states. This group is completely funded by donors that are in line with Americans for Prosperity. And I don't know if
the Koch network.
Yeah, you saw our show a couple weeks ago, but we talked extensively about AFP, who just endorsed Nikki Haley for president, by the way. Not exactly probably the endorsement that's going to be a winning one.
She thought it was.
But not surprising. But it's not surprising. That's the thing.
She said the largest grassroots network in America. It's
like, who?
Yeah, maybe like 15 years ago, lady.
Who?
Like, okay.
I didn't know until 2 episodes ago, to be honest with you, who they were.
Yeah. Well, it's the Koch network, right? And so Ducey, it's not a secret. Governor Ducey gets all his money from the Kochs. That's where it came from. There's a couple of donors who will not be named here that have contributed heavily to Citizens for Free Enterprise. And again, we're not here just to knock Citizens for Free Enterprise. I hope they'll do really good stuff. My concern is to frame all this as Governor Ducey's going out to Georgia. And what are they doing? They're talking anti-Trump stuff, right? Like, that's who they hang out with. That's all that they hang out with. So the question is like, what are they doing? Well, on their front face, what they're telling people is they're registering voters. So they're trying to get independents registered as Republicans. So the question is what independents are they trying to get to register? What are they doing? Who are they attracting? Who are they going after? And again, registering voters is great, right? That's cool, whatever. But like, Trump's going to be our nominee, right? Like, that's pretty clear at this point. We don't need a bunch of organizations wasting a bunch of money going around trying to like recruit people to vote against Trump.
I'll tell you this though, and this is information from you too. Is like, so last election cycle, Doug Ducey on his way out as governor has a bunch of money in PACs and stuff. And I'm running for the legislature. There's other conservatives that are running, and they spent a lot of money from the PACs that Doug Ducey like oversees and is part with in Republican legislative primaries. Wasted a bunch of money on losing candidates. In my race, Doug Ducey probably propped up, I think it was like $100,000+. I'm not a fan of Governor Ducey because he did that. So like, I don't like Doug Ducey because I think that's dumb politics to waste it. And now we don't have a larger legislative majority in Arizona because of actions like Governor Ducey. And so I hope that they spend money on registering voters in Georgia. They're not doing anything in Arizona. I haven't seen that. Our staff is at LDs every single day and at conservative organizations, at grassroots events. They're not there tabling or registering voters or getting out to vote. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if this is just like a racket for Doug Ducey's consultants to make a bunch of money. That's the problem. Tyler's being a little bit more nice about it, but I'm not a fan. I hope they actually do something worthwhile. So.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I want to get Jessica's take on this because I want to hear what she thinks is like, and an observer, a third-party observer, because obviously we have our biases against, the Ducey people. But like, like Austin said, like the Ducey clan, like none of them worked with grassroots conservatives for the past 10 years. They didn't do anything that was nice for the grassroots. They didn't help anybody. They opposed people. He spent money on himself for the most part.
Yeah.
And like none of that helped build the thing. And then we know that like Kid fought with President Trump and and all that stuff. And like he was just putted around during the 2020 election. That wasn't helpful. And that's crazy. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to get your take, Jess, on like what you think of Ducey, like this whole thing, what you know about Coke and what to look for and what you think.
I mean, knowing that his organization is now working closely with AFP, who just endorsed Nikki Haley, it seems he is, like you guys alluded, going out there and trying to sway independent voters to vote Republican to vote for Nikki Haley. And since Trump obviously is favorable for the nominee, now there's talk of, the establishment trying to get Haley on the Trump ticket as vice president. There's theories about that of where that's going to lead. That
Correct.
I don't know if we should go into that right now, but if not for getting people to vote for Trump, he's going to get people to try to vote for Haley and then make it seem like that's who's wanted as the vice president.
Yeah, I don't think the vast majority of the grassroots want her to be on the ticket.
No, for sure not.
No, it's not going to happen. Did you see what Don Jr. said?
I saw Anna Paulina straight up came and tweeted today, was like, Nikki Haley should not be vice president.
Don Jr. about Nikki Haley, he said, I wonder if there's a clip for this, but he said, I will go to great lengths to prevent Nikki Haley from being the vice president.
That's great.
I mean, Trump won't be fooled either. So even if there was, a lot of independent voters that are now voting for Nikki Haley for president, he's not going to then be like, oh, well, maybe I should.
Every poll that's come out has shown Nikki Haley like getting absolutely trounced by Biden. Every poll.
Yeah.
Like Trump's the only one that's beating Biden in any poll.
Yeah.
So I don't think she brings anything to the table. I actually think that she drags everybody, and she's like a bad attitude, and she's a lib. So, so yeah, I think we have Maisie on the phone. State representative, the good state representative from Missouri.
Yes, that's right.
We've got her. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, sorry for the bad quality. I'm in the car driving around the great state of Missouri.
There you go. We're so excited to have you. And for those that don't know, this week's been kind of an eventful week. Representative, are you going officially by Boyd or Christensen?
So now it's officially Christensen. So in all of my
congratulations.
Thank you. Yep.
So recently married another rock star from the state legislature up in North Dakota. Representative, now formerly Boyd, now Christensen, was part of the RNC Youth Advisory Council. And this week, many saw the news that had come out about what had gone on at the RNC, which was a whole lot of nothing. And as being on the national committee and having been subjected to a very similar circumstance as once upon a time was asked to co-chair a committee and then, did a ton of work. I actually did a ton of work, organized a lot, and then was basically just like the whole parade was rained on. I've seen other committees operate this way where it's just like a placating committee that's created by the chair, and then nothing happens. And so we saw the letter that came out. Maisie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys said in the letter? And I know you've had some strong feelings because we want to hear all about it and just have a broader discussion about, what do we got to do to get the Republican Party on the right track?
Yeah. So when this was brought to my attention, first I was like, are you sure the RNC would like me to be on their youth advisory? Mostly because I'm a little polarizing on the far right. Definitely, I love Trump, and I'm definitely a MAGA person, and the RNC really doesn't love people like that, and especially youth that are like that. So I was like, are you sure? But when I ended up getting on, I actually made idea list. I was like, okay, this is like my opportunity to maybe help like the Republican Party. Like right now, like we're in a standstill. People were super upset with Ronna getting reelected by our members. And so I was like, okay, this could be the way we got the youth vote. So I made my itinerary, I made all my ideas, I printed it off, and I actually flew on my own dime to Washington, D.C. To be in the meeting in person. Because I think it's really important that you're there in person, because I wanted to show that I really did genuinely care. Most people were on Zoom. And it's kind of what you heard off the Zoom. A lot of people that are still on the committee would probably be appalled if they actually were there in person, what they heard once the camera shut off.
Wow. Well, what was heard when the camera shut off?
You know, one of the interesting things was one of the ladies that's still on the committee that supports it, she mentioned going to a Turning Point event. She's like, there's a lot of young people there. When I go and speak, a lot of young people show up. You know, you guys should have a booth there. And, you know, there's a lot of head shaking. Mm-hmm. And then they brought up, there was another gentleman from Colorado that brought up a Colorado youth event, something totally different. I think it was just one of their GOP events in Colorado. And they were like, okay, yep. Mm-hmm. And then videos off, the meeting's ending, and the chairwoman looks at her worker and says, we are doing nothing with Turning Point, but we will go to Colorado. They did none of that. They never went to Colorado. Of course, they weren't going to do anything with Turning Point. Yeah, I know it might be a shock, but I think it's interesting, though, that she's all about unity. But the one of the biggest youth organizations in America, you don't want to work with or try to find a common ground for Bank Your Vote. Like, I don't get that. And it really wasn't about our ideas. It was, please post about Bank Your Vote. Okay, what do my, 4,000, I think I'm at maybe 3.7 thousand followers on Facebook, because I'm not really a social media gal. I was a boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, what do my constituents care about Bank Your Vote? Young people don't care about that. There's actually even a whole Reddit about how Bank Your Vote isn't going to work.
Right. Well, and that's from the conservative side too. And this is what we've been talking about at Turning Point Action is, we want to be strategic about how we chase ballots. We don't need to tell everybody how to vote. We just need to make sure the votes get out. Like the get out the vote operation is, if you want to vote on election day, you should vote on election day.
Right.
We shouldn't be like making people feel bad about themselves. That's a whole separate topic on the Bank Your Vote stuff, but that we can go into and we will talk about further. But I mean, I just want to compliment your tenacity because, again, I know how hard you work. Are you the youngest member of the legislature there in Missouri?
Yes. Yep, I am.
By how much?
I think the next person is maybe 3 years older than me.
3 or 4 years
Bravo.
older.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
and the average, you're probably like 20 or 30 years younger than the average. So, I feel the same way. I'm on the RNC, and I'm like 20 years younger than the average, probably 25 years younger than the average. And it's tough because it's like all these ideas you bring to the table, you want to participate, you want to help. And then when these people who have been there forever, and this isn't my first experience doing this, right? Austin knows this. Like I've had to slap around a lot of people here in Arizona. We've had a lot of like, hey, you guys don't know it all. You haven't really been doing much. But Ronna's like the archetypical version of this, which is like she's making probably over $1 million a year between her salary and the way that she makes money. Her husband's making money through consultancies. They're doing all sorts of stuff. Like they're making money, whatever. They have no incentive whatsoever to make the party better. Mm-hmm. And this is where the party has to step back and look at this and go, wait, guys, what are we doing? Like, how can we survive with leadership like Ronna and all these other fools who they look at a person like Representative Christensen here, who's like, again, she's incredible. She's married to another state representative that just left his job to go be married, right, and get married. They're like an ideal couple. They're a beautiful couple, like power ideal couple. Conservatives, power couple, right? And it's like, yeah, maybe she has something to contribute here that has some good ideas because she got elected at the youngest age possible. Austin's the youngest member of the legislature here in Arizona.
I wasn't asked to be on it. I'm glad they asked Maisie because she's just probably more conservative than me, I bet. But I'm glad they asked you.
She's
not
also
me,
pretty. She's also pretty.
I think she is prettier than me, and she's probably nicer than me. So I probably wouldn't have been as nice in that hearing after that. But
that's the mistake that they made is they looked at her and her and she was deceiving with her thing.
They saw her voting record. She's like, she's too conservative.
But I'll tell you what, this is where we look at this and we go, huge congratulations to you for sticking with it. And these are the experiences, in my opinion. I want to get your take on this, Maisie. Just one last take here before we go is, I've had these experiences numerous times. I've sat in the office with John McCain and he told me that I was going to sit in my place. And, I've sat in the office with another senator, with a governor. They try to put me in my place. And these people don't get it. So what do you think it's going to take to help people that are in these positions get it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, I guess in these positions, if we're just talking about the RNC, like in general, I think they just don't get the movement. And that's what I said in Fox, like they are still running like Bush era politics. And I know that's probably just like a little catchphrase, but it's so true. Like, I don't think they still fully get how we won in 2016. I don't think they still get Trump. I don't think they get that young people love Trump. And I think that's a huge win. And also, it's interesting, you have Vivek, Ramaswamy. Young people really like him too. And, he's going on CNN, he's going on MSNBC, whereas the RNC just likes to be on Fox News. Yeah. That's it. And I don't think a lot of people are even watching Fox News anymore. And when I look on social media and see what people love, they love Daily Wire and they love Charlie Kirk. And those are the two things that they are not utilizing at all. Like, nobody cares about Karl Rove anymore. Like, not a single young person wants to hear from him. I'm sorry. Like, they don't. And why are we using these types of people to run these operations? Like, when I was just trying to get into politics and I had no political affiliation, my parents, of course, I was Republican, my parents were Republican. I will tell you, like, the person that I looked up to, not even looked up to, but like I thought was interesting was DC Drano, Rogan O'Hanley. And I know a lot of people kind of have that similar story. So why aren't we using those types of people to try to help our youth? I think that's what's changing. And the thing is, the RNC is very defensive. The one email that I got back was basically like, my fault. Like, why didn't I hold this woman that's the chairwoman of the RNC accountable? She gets paid millions of dollars, $1 million per se, to run the RNC. Is it my job as a free volunteer to hold this woman accountable? Like, I don't necessarily think so.
No, and that's the job of the RNC members, right? The person that sent you that email back, the national committeeman, I won't say what state he was from, just I'll let you share that if you want to, but the one email you got, isn't that crazy? 168 people. Obviously, we know about a third of them are rock solid. They're good. But only one person, really sent you an email back. A couple of people maybe sent you messages, and one person sent you an email back blaming you. That's crazy to me. Isn't that insane? That like you just put it so perfectly. It's like you're the volunteer. You're the person that was asked to help. When you're an advisory committee, you're asked to help to advise the chair, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that the whole point of the committee?
And magically, I want to know, now the RNC Youth Advisory, they have it all together. They have their plan. Magically, after this letter gets put out, I want to make that clear that now they're saying that they're doing stuff, the plan is put together. Like, I don't know how the 168 don't realize, like, that's kind of weird. And this committee's been going on since April and May.
Yeah,
thoughts, good for thought.
I'll tell you again, I served as Rana asked me to be the co-chair of the grassroots committee, and I think she really regretted it because I ended up putting together, I think it ended up being a 30-page document of all the things that were wrong with the RNC that we needed to do to help via the grassroots and use the grassroots. Very similar to the youth committee here. There was a situation where she was just like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. And it was everything. She didn't want to do anything. And I started going like, wait, why do we have a grassroots committee then if you don't want to do anything? Why are you putting in people that are chairs that don't want to do anything? Well, it's because they just want to use it. yeah, like you said, you guys said it perfectly in your letter, is that they're just
Fundraising.
using it just to use it to say, like they're using, Representative Christensen's face and, former Representative Mitchell's face, and they're using all these other guys. And I texted Rick Lockery, who is the former chair of the YRs. I'm like, are you still on this? He didn't answer me back the most recently, but the last time he's like, no, I'm off it. The last time he talked to me, they're still using his name on stuff, right? And it's like, when was the last time you did anything? Do you know they're just using your name just to promote this, just to fundraise, and you guys aren't doing anything? Because the last thing that Rick told me was like, just like what these guys said, was like they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it's so offensive. It's so offensive to people like you, Austin, to Maisie, to us that are in the youth space, right? Where it's like we're working so hard. We've given our lives to like trying to help young people get more involved. I've done that since I was a young guy. I've done that since I was in college. I haven't stopped, right? Charlie hasn't stopped. You haven't stopped. And now you're getting older, and it's like we've done all this work for so long, and there's all these dumb idiots that just don't even care, and they're not forget gratitude. It's just they're not even recognizing the work that's being put in.
They don't care to even learn. Yeah.
And it's like Representative Christensen here is like, she got into office. Like, why don't we ask her a few questions how she did that, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk with her about it. That seems like the starting point. Anyways, Maisie, let's give you the final word here, and then we'll let you go because I know you got to get back to travel here. Probably get home after a long day at the legislature. Final word from you.
I thank you for having me come on and also kind of clear the narrative of the letter. I'm very proud of the people that I serve with, of course, in Missouri, but also the 5 members, that are from Florida, Texas, and West Virginia, and of course with Joe Mitchell, who also runs Run Gen Z. That is, the sole passion is young people. And if the RNC doesn't see that we are all very passionate about young people and of course the Republican Party, then I think they just missed the mark altogether.
I couldn't say any better than you just did. So again, thank you so much, Representative Christensen. Thank you for your service to the state of Missouri, your service to the country. We're excited to see you run for Congress very soon. There's a lot of upheaval that needs to happen in Missouri, and we love to see that, and great conservatives kind of take the reins here. So we're looking forward to that very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to you soon. Well, awesome. What do you think? What do you think about Maisie?
I respect the car interview for sure. Obviously,
she's a woman on the go.
It just goes to show that exactly. She's a woman on the go. She's actually busy doing the work while other people think that they just have it in the bag and they sit back and don't do anything.
By the way, Ron has never served in the state legislature, to my knowledge.
I don't think she's ever been elected to anything other than state party chair, and RNC chair.
Yeah. And she was appointed by Trump originally. That's how she got there. So
Yeah, that's true.
Effectively. So.
AmFest. We've got AmFest coming up. Very exciting.
When's AmFest?
16th through the 19th, Phoenix, Arizona.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
2 days.
Speaking of Vivek, he'll be there Sunday.
Vivek's going to be there.
Yep.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy. He's probably got some harsh words to talk about the RNC.
Vivek, Bannon. We've got
Carrie Lake announced, Don Jr.,
Matt Gaetz,
MTG,
Roger Stone,
MyPillow, Mike Lindell,
Harmeet.
We got Representative Corey Mills.
Tucker's coming.
Tucker.
Ted Cruz.
Roseanne Barr, right?
Riley
we got
Gaines.
Rob Schneider.
Benny Johnson. Jack Poso.
Dennis Prager. This is wild.
Big lineup. Yeah. And Swing State Update. We're going to be going live a few times, pulling some people in that we see on Sunday at America Fest. That's going to be the Turning Point Action Day all day long at America Fest. If you're there, go to amfest.com. Get signed up right now. They still got some space. The biggest event in the conservative movement. It's my favorite time of the year. Tyler and I, Jessica, will all be around the booth all day long during America Fest for Swing State Update. We'll pull people in from, that are grassroots activists, members of the Arizona Freedom Caucus, some other people that are going to be down there just to talk all day long about what's going on at America Fest. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. But as always, tpaction.com/PC. We need you to be a precinct committeeman. You got to be part of the precinct committeeman in the state that you're from.
Yeah, and so free tickets. You can come on down. Let people know. Bring your family. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have thousands and thousands of people there. I think our max capacity is about 15,000 people. I think we're going to be somewhere in that ballpark. So
Exciting.
it's going to be big.
Wow.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of people.
Wear comfortable shoes because you're on your feet most of the day.
So let's go back.
That's something I learned last year.
So that was a good ad breakage there. Before we completely outro here, let's go back to this because I don't think we played the clip of Charlie talking about the Youth Advisory Committee stuff. I just want to throw to that. Give kind of one last go. Is that cool if we throw that on? Because I think the Charlie clip is pretty fire. Can we go back to that clip 3? Or do we? Yeah, let's do it.
And we joined this board, and unfortunately, it's turned out to really be an optical illusion to be able to raise funds from donors to give to the RNC, which, as you've seen this past week, they are not doing too well on fundraising, and so that, I guess, makes sense. But this was not something I was going to continue to participate in and make sure that they could utilize folks that are good people, that are actually elected officials, that are doing stuff in their respective states to raise funds for this movement.
Yeah, so I mean, not to kind of beat a dead horse here, but this is like such a what a letdown the RNC is over and over and over again. This is why we need everybody involved as much as we possibly can get. Arizona is going to be in absolute trouble come this next year if we don't get as many people here and as involved. People have asked me, what is the RNC doing in Arizona? Do you know what the RNC is doing in Arizona? Zilch. Nothing. There's been nothing done. And we've got a good guy that they've hired over there that was there before last cycle. He's a nice guy, but even he's saying, he's like, dude, the cavalry's not coming. The cavalry is not
I didn't want to
going
offend anyone, but I was like, not much.
It's not a whole lot. So we've got to have people focused on these states. Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, like we need your focus. We need your help. We need your blood. We're telling people right now, as you think about ahead, you come to AmFest this weekend, you get pumped up. You get excited. You show up.
You sign up to chase ballots. Sign up for being a
Yes.
coalition.
Should we break the news?
Yes.
Here, should I break the news?
Yes.
Turning Point Action is actually, that big Cowboys hat that you wore at the Cowboys game? Yeah, because Austin's a Cowboys fan. The big foam hats that they have at football games. We ordered thousands of big red foam cowboy hats that say
I didn't know this.
that say precinct sheriff on them. So if you want a precinct sheriff cowboy hat, you come to the Turning Point Action booth while you're here. You're going to see people walking around with them. This is a collector's item. You're not going to want to miss this. This is like the most incredible thing. And when you're out door knocking and we're chasing ballots, I want to see
Precinct sheriffs.
the badasses out there wearing their precinct sheriff foam cowboy hats. What come next October in Arizona, because it's going to be it's incredible. The pictures that we're going to get of Jess in the precinct sheriff hat are going to be
During Swing State Update, too.
incredible.
Yeah.
This is going to be a total upgrade from my American flag cowboy hat.
Amfest.com.
Wait, you have an American flag cowboy hat?
Yeah, that's what I was wearing it last year.
Oh, you were wearing it all last year? Okay,
Yeah.
bring that. You're going to
Okay.
wear that, and then you're
I
going to
will
wear
wear
the
that.
precinct,
No, it's
precinct sheriff
We'll
hat.
all
Yeah.
three wear them during Swing State Update at there.
Oh, yeah, nonstop. You,
Yeah.
like glued to your head.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an
Amfest.com.
upgrade.
I expect
Go
you to
there.
sleep in it, actually. So,
I
Probably
wear my
comfy.
cowboy hat all the time.
Amfest.com, Amfest.com. Go get your tickets. Thank you, PC, at checkout. Get free tickets. Come on down. Bring your fam. Have a great time. The other thing that we just want to touch upon before we go here, again, go to tpaction.com/chase. And we're getting ready to hire for ballot chasing. Austin is hiring hundreds of people in Arizona.
Yep.
Hundreds of people in Wisconsin. If you have friends or family that need a job, that are good at the door, that look nice, that dress okay, right? At least nice, and have good hygiene, and all the things that we need out of a good representative to chase ballots and build relationships. Send them here. We're going to be posting jobs. You can go to tpaction.com/careers to see where those jobs are. tpaction.com/chase to get involved and put your name in. We're going to be going through and sending people reminders on a regular basis that those jobs are open. We're looking for people in the East and West Valley of Phoenix. We're looking for people in the Milwaukee and Waukesha area. We're looking for people north in the North Shore area, north of Milwaukee. We're looking for people down in, I believe it's Kenosha as well. So if you know people, we got to get you hired. Apply for jobs. We need you for ballot chasing. Well, before we sign off, let's give each of you guys the last word. Austin, what's the last word? And we'll give Jess the last word here.
Amfest.com. We need you there. Get signed up. Thank you, PC, when you're checking out. Free general admission. We'll see you guys there.
Yeah, I will see you guys at AmFest. I will be at both the Swing State booth and the Post Millennial booth, along with Libby Emmons.
Oh, if you want to meet Libby, Libby is a genius. You've probably seen her she's on Timcast like every other day. It feels like I feel like she's on Timcast like once a week.
Yeah, it's been a lot more often recently.
She just like lives out there. She lives out in the middle of nowhere. So,
but she is currently on a flight on her way here now.
Cool.
So.
She's on her way to Phoenix. So if you want to meet the great Libby Emmons, who's incredible, a genius, you want to meet a lot of people. To be honest, we're gonna all those speakers that we just railed off there. We just rattled off. They are incredible. They're gonna be waltzing around that whole place. And so if you want to meet some of your conservative heroes. And guys, we're going to have some surprises still. There's still some surprises coming, I think, with AmFest that are going to blow some people away. You want to be there. You don't want to miss out. You do not want to miss this because this is going to be the heartbeat for what's going on for this next election cycle. Again, thank you to Austin Smith, the great state representative Austin Smith. Jessica, we're excited to have you on board with us here.
I'm so excited.
Excited to have you on a regular basis. And as always, guys, God bless, and we'll see you next week.
Amfest.com.